All right. Hi, Coach. Thanks for taking the time. We'll go ahead and start with an opening statement and then open it up to questions.
Well, couldn't be more proud of a team than I have this team. This is obviously this team has fought through everything that you could ever imagine. When you talk about COVID, you talk about just the injury to Devin Daniels and not having Thomas Allen, and then not having the opportunity for Braxton Beverly to play tonight. And I walked into the NIT with the expectation that our guys get some experience in playing, and we absolutely got that. My hat goes off to Colorado State. I thought they played well. They made plays down the stretch. But at the end of the day, man, I'm proud of these guys, man, the things that they've accomplished. You look at us, we're one of the few teams in the ACC that didn't have to stop as much because of the virus. Our guys did a great job of protecting our bubble. We did a tremendous job during the middle of the season, running off a bunch of road games in a row. And so it's a lot of things. I feel really bad for our seniors, especially Braxton Beverly, who couldn't play in the game. But at the end of the day, man, what I told those guys in the locker room is I love everybody for their fight. There wasn't one day, one practice that I didn't think our guys competed. And, I've always said to my guys, if you play extremely hard, I'll live with the results. And the results were we came up a little bit short, but that doesn't define what type of year that we had, and proud of our fight. So questions?
Go ahead and start with Brad.
Kevin, you guys got the ball inside almost at will in the first half and not as much in the second. Was that a matter of their defense adjusting, or did your guards just not get it in there as much as they did in the first?
Yeah, I think they made adjustment because, obviously without Braxton Beverly being out there, we lost a shooter. And so it's easy just to sag off some of those guys who don't shoot the ball as well. And so they packed the paint a little bit more in the second half. I looked up a couple of times. We were trying to get DJ the basketball. He hadn't had a touch in a while, but we couldn't get it there. And then I thought we had some bad turnovers trying to force the ball in just because that was our game plan.
And then on the final possession, was that the jumper, the three-pointers by Jericho, is that what you drew up, or was that something that you'd rather have seen something different there?
No, what we wanted out of it is it was a two-part play. We wanted Jericho to come off of the stagger screens or elevator, and we thought they would hedge out on it and be able to slip DJ to the rim. So it was one or two options of it, to get DJ the basketball on a slip, or Jericho to come off and get a jump shot into another ball screen. And he had a look, and he's played well for us all year long, so I'll live with his shot.
Thanks a lot.
Jonas?
Hey, Coach. I wanted to ask, compare it to last week in the Davidson game. You said your guys were fired up for the NIT, and it showed early and often with the energy from that game. This game, it just looked a little different. It's like your team fought, but it's like the energy wasn't the same as it was last week. They coming back to Raleigh and taking a week off, did it kind of hurt your guys' momentum or energy in any way, you think?
No, I'm gonna have to disagree with you, Jonas. I think our guys played hard. We just didn't make shots. When you look at that Davidson game, we made shots. I thought we completely played well. When the score is 28-25 at halftime, you're doing something right. And I thought we were great defensively. It was one of those games, and we knew that. If you look at the history of us, anytime we play a pack line team, it's going to be a low-scoring game. That's typically how Virginia plays. And we knew we were going to have to win a game if it was going to be 40-41, 41-40. But I thought our guys' effort, I don't think coming back affected anything. I just thought they made plays. We missed some shots down the stretch, and that's the way the ball bounced.
James?
Hey, Kevin, coming into this game, how concerned were you with having to guard Spencer and Roddy for them? They're two main guys, two kind of unique players, I think, when you look at how they try to play.
Well, they're talented. Both of those guys can make shots, and Spencer was really good. I thought he got in the paint. I thought he made a couple pull-ups. Both of those guys made really tough shots down the stretch for those guys when they needed it. And they were concerned. They were at the top of the scouting report, trying to figure out how to take Roddy's right hand away. I thought we did a good job. He made a couple counter moves and made some shots, and they were talented. But that's a good basketball team, as you know, and we knew that coming in, and my hat goes off to them the way they played.
Ryan?
Coach, you mentioned everything that your team's been through. Can you talk about how this team has grown, especially those young freshmen?
Yeah, I couldn't draw up more opportunities than these guys had. Now, it's not anything that we definitely wanted to, but when you look at, let's just look at the last game in general. Every veteran guard that we had on our roster didn't play. And so the experience that Cam Hayes has gotten and Shaq Moore has gotten and Darion Sebron, it's unbelievable because typically you might get one freshman to get a chance to play a bunch of minutes but in a season, but you don't get three. And I thought all three of those guys have matured in a lot of ways. I'm not going to define them because they didn't have great games, but I think the experience that they've gotten has been great. I'm excited and glad that we came to the NIT. I think we learned a lot from it. Now we have to build on it.
Justin?
Coach, you've mentioned one of the reasons you accepted a bid to the NIT is you wanted to give your freshman guard some more playing experience, some postseason experience. And tonight they had their struggles. They had 12 combined turnovers. How do you think that plays going into their first true offseason? I mean, obviously you want them to kind of go out on a positive note, but can you find a silver lining maybe in the fact that there's some body of work and they know that there's some work to do this summer?
Yeah, Justin, you typically like to learn with a win. And that's the best way to do it. You know, you win the game, they don't play well, and you win, and you can learn from that. Unfortunately for us, we lost, so we're going to have to learn with a loss. And, you know, I think that's great for those guys to be able to go into the summer and look at that and see where they have a chance and see where they got to improve, see where they have to work on. They've got to get bigger. They've got to get stronger. They've got to be better shooters. They got to, you know, be better ball handlers. And, you know, the greatest thing about freshmen is they become sophomores. And if they all would have a great summer leading up to next year, they could all be really good basketball players.
All right, we've got our last question from CL.
Yeah, Kevin, you kind of alluded to it in your opening statement, but I wanted to see if you could kind of put in perspective just how challenging COVID and the pandemic made this season. You know, the cost of it from a mental capacity, trying to make sure your guys were okay in that sense, and just the day-to-day, making sure they were following the protocols just to be able to get on the court and play.
Well, to be honest with you, CL, COVID sucked, and it was bad. And what we don't take in consideration is the mental aspect of what these kids have to go through. They didn't have a chance to be kids this year. They didn't have a chance to hang out with the student body. Our freshmen didn't have a chance to meet other people on campus. You know, not that we wanted those guys to go out to parties, but they couldn't. Didn't have a chance to go to the movies. And it was tough. You don't know what these kids are going through and the struggles that they go through. They've got family members that may have passed away because of COVID. They've got family members that were sick because of it. And it's a tough deal. And I just really, really hope and pray that, you know, we can get the vaccines, as many people that want it, and we can get to being back to normal, because I would love for these kids in general who has fought the entire year, not just my guys, just guys in college basketball and all sports, and had to do it a different way to get back to being normal, because things wasn't normal. We can say what we want to. It's tough. You know, we play in a 20,000 seat arena, and those guys never got a chance to experience the PNC. They never got a chance to experience what it's like to play a true road game when, you know, people are yelling at you, and that's tough. And so I think if everybody would do their part, hopefully we can all get back to doing things the way we used to. And CL, it was, as a coach, from my perspective, it's probably the toughest year that I've had to manage in college basketball in my career. After every practice, after every night, I used to text the guys, make sure you stay out of, you can't go out, you can't hang out in groups. You got to protect that bubble. And it became one of those things, man, it's tough. And then I'll give you this, you know, on a personal standpoint, you know, I've got two sons, and those guys were online, and it affects them how they study. You know, they didn't, you know, I feel bad for kids in high school and below, because you don't get the social skills of hanging with other people. You don't get any of that stuff. You know, it's been completely affected. My son didn't get, in the last couple of years, a full year of playing AAU basketball, and that's been tough. And so, you know, it's easy. We get a lot of people that will complain about kids. And it's crazy because we get that on the internet about every school and the way a kid plays. And at the end of the day, they don't know the struggles that we had to go to get these kids just to the court to be able to play. And shame on them for doing those type of things.
All right, that's it. Thanks, Coach.
Listen, I want to personally thank all you guys for your coverage of NC State basketball this year. You've been tremendous. I know it hasn't been easy on you. I know you guys have had to do things a different way. I'm going to continue to pray for everyone and make sure you guys are safe. And I look forward to seeing all you guys next year.
Right back at you, Kevin. Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it, Coach.